Hi guys, it's me, Joseph Anderson again, and for this video that I will be dedicating to the Avatar Last Airbender vlogs, I shall be talking about Chapter 14 of Book 1 of this wonderful show, and the name of the episode is The Fortune Teller. Now, this chapter, this episode, in this chapter, in this book, or saga, is squarely in the war territory again, with some very interesting caveats for that. But right now, I'm going to tell you about the word fortune teller that's in the title. Now, the word fortune teller in the actual title of it has dash in it. But I know, for example, some people pronounce it like fortune teller like one big word. So I don't know whether it's the fortune teller with a hyphen in it, or the dash, or just fortune teller like one word. So I'm gonna call it the fortune teller dash. It's a minor thing, but it's a little nitpick I have. So before we get into the actual titular fortune teller, there are some very funny moments I find in this thing, as well as other funny things on Saga's expense. Now, the Team Avatar goes to this island with Appa and everybody else, and they go to fish to where and turn the fish line into like a friendship bracelet for his sweetie pie, because she ended up losing her necklace to Prince Zuko, and basically Sokka had to go fish with his bare hands, like a real bear would do. So I like this aspect of Aang in that he's playful, but he's also a vegetarian. So pretty much he doesn't like to eat meat. Whether that includes fish, I can't say. But I like the fact that he's not a stickler for that for his fans too. In that he allows them to eat fish and meat in front of him without raising an eyebrow or a big stink about it. I know that there's some vegetarians out there that, but I would say something about that, but he's not one of them. That's pretty good. Now, this is the part that's really funny, in which they go along on their way, and then they find another guy over there. He looks like he's being attacked by a platypus bear, and this creature looks like it means business because it's swiping at him and making all kinds of roaring noises at him and all that stuff. So they're trying to give him all kinds of strategy to get rid of the bear without actually harming it, because the man looks like he's pretty much gliding his way out of being mauled to death. Now, I thought that when I originally saw this, I thought that it was that the bear was somehow trained with the guy, that the guy was just evading him, to train the bear to like attack better and stuff. Like, you know, it could happen, but it just so happened that it was a well-populous bear, and that when the avatar sort of got in between them two, and he wouldn't stop rampaging against this guy and the avatar now, Appa ended up roaring right behind him. So that made him cower. Because there's always a bigger fish out there that's more angry than you are. Like in Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. But anyway, this is real funny because in its fear and anguish, the platypus bear lays an egg, a big giant egg right there, to which Saka picks up and sniffs it, and then he declares it lunch. Meanwhile, it's fresh from the acid of this platypus bear. You know, give it a little time to, you know, to cool down, or maybe, not be wet, or, not stink, because I'm sure that fresh eggs like that probably stink to high heaven. But, and then the guy says, don't worry about it. I was predicted that I'd find today. So that's what happened. It was found today by the titular Aunt Wu, the fortune teller, which will remind me of two people, my Aunt Lulu and my my old aide, Mrs. Kong, from when I was in elementary school, but by design. And she also remember me of this woman from the Boondocks, you know, the cartoon series, Anne McGregor. So there was that. Now, there's also a part where Katara is able to bend the rain so that it doesn't hit her and make all wet and soggy and all that. So that's kind of cool that she used her powers like that without having to do all the wind up and the yoga poses and stuff. She just does this to make the world make a nice arch around the head. And then the guy gives them a package of just a simple umbrella. Twist Tucker is pissed off that he was unable to that he did battle the hocus pocus fortune teller thing. Now it should tell you that this episode with Aunt Wu is into very heavy stereotypical territory. I'll get into that in a minute when we talk about the character, because it's very quite telling of Chinese culture in which Aunt Wu is based on. Now, I believe that Aunt Wu was based on a specific woman from ancient Chinese history. I can't tell you who it was, but I know that there was somebody that was like a big fortune teller back then. So yeah. Anyway, so then these guys go to this little village, and they also get introduced to Meng, which is a very cute little girl with very Queen Amidala-esque hair. It's hilarious that she does that, but she got very weird hair. It's even weirder than my own hair, and it she falls for Aang. Like Stocking Barrels, she falls in love with him as a crush. To the point that later on, when Aang tells her that, you know, someday she'll find her own love. One day, who will be none other than him over her. She even calls Katara with a nice phony and behaved hair. A floozy. That's very funny. It's like a kite type thing with little girls. But anyway, that's super funny. But she's the assistant to Aunt Wu. And Aunt Wu is a very powerful psychic fortune teller. And when I said that they went stereotypical territory with it, when they went heavy on the stereotypes with her, in that she's like supposed to be an ancient Chinese fortune teller, and she does all kinds of fortunes, like to the point of doing like palm reading. She reads the palms of Katara and the other people in the village, and she'll do she does she reads bones in the fire, which was a real thing where the person can toss bones into the fire and then read the tracks on the bones to find out what that person's fortune is going to be. I don't get how it works, but for the Avatar case, the fire that's involved with it cracks the bones, and then it explodes, indicating a big battle or a big fight, a prelude into the last 4 episodes of Avatar, which Aang takes over, when Aang takes down the Fire Lord Ozai. But my camel away. So just by looking at Posaka, she said that you will have lots of hardship, lots of pain too, but most will be self-inflicted. He'll do to himself. So that's hilarious, because he's just real hilarious in this episode. And he even kicks the rock over to bounce off the sign and hit him in the head again. So that's very funny. That's very funny. And then he said, that does not prove my point. Okay, it does. So anyway, these people in the village follow Aunt Wu's predictions to a T. Like, they don't actually think for themselves. And the only people that I do think for themselves are the Avatar gang. So this could actually be a type of prelude to religion, in that there are certain people that follow the advice and the prophecies of religious folks blindly, and they don't really think for themselves, even when there's imminent danger involved, like the bear, like the platypus bear, and later on you have a volcano blow up and stuff, and they predict that a volcano will blow up, we will be unharmed by it. So there's that. Unfortunately, that could also be a self-fulfilling prophecy, more or less. And, because I think that fortune telling goes hand in hand with religion, because even though you don't actually believe in the higher power in fortune telling, it still is considered like divine intervention to be able to say the future to somebody they expect it, more or less. Like, you will meet a handsome man in the future, or you will come into great fortune or something like that. So yeah. Even though the fortunes tend to be very vague, it still is in my category. I would categorize it as part of a religious experience. You can't rely too much on religion. It's good, but you can't rely on it for everything in your life. And Saka even says as much that the people in the village rely too much on that stuff, on religious side of things, and the fortune side of things, and to find love, to find fortune, to find anything else that is valuable. And see here, he's more of a science and reason type person. Like, like I know that the Earth's going to shake because of this reason, or I know the tide's going to happen because of this reason, under a particular pattern and all that. And I see certain things that will lead to other things. I know there will be chemicals going on from my brain to indicate a desire for something, or a lust for something, or a hunger for something. So that's what Saka is like in this episode. And he tried to dismiss everything that Atla said to be happenstance and circumstantial, and that it's a whole bunch of hogwash and gobbledygook. Kind of like what Nostradamus said, Nostradamus said like there will be a great war in a year, in like 20 years time or something from when he died. But that's so incredibly vague that it could come for anything. Or like one of my favorites is there will be a world leader that will try to take over the world. Well, that could be anybody. That could be Donald Trump, for example. It could be Adolf Hitler. That could be Mussolini, Emperor Caesar, Nero, Winston Churchill, for example. Or it could be some Middle Eastern king, or African king, or something. So anyway, they tried to how about these people in the village, because there's right next to a volcano that will become very active by the end of the episode, and they're like, don't worry about it, and we didn't predict anything, because apparently we can predict these terrestrial events by using cloud readings. So like for example, like a crescent moon shape in the clouds represents, I guess, good crops or something like that. Something to do with crops. And a fluffy bunny cloud represents do apparently. So ATLA is kind of weird in that regard. You know, that she uses cloud pictures to say, you know, this means that, that means that, this means that. I don't know if that was really a thing back then, but I'm gonna assume that was a thing for ancient China. And of course, you know, Aang's guy used that thing because he overheard Wu talking like Katara about, like, gonna meet a powerful bender and fall in love with him and stuff. Meanwhile, Mang thinks that the Avatar will go for her because she's in love with him and he got big ears. And Aunt Wu told her once that a big-eared guy would come in and sweep her off her feet. You know, she's like maybe 9 years old, Aang's like 12 years old, so kind of a little bit of a young age to be thinking about, I'm gonna fall in love with this person. Oh, I'm gonna make him feel nice and give him snoo. So anyway, Aang's trying to talk to Katara like all lovey-dovey and romantic and stuff. She's not having it. Until afterwards, Sokka said during the big volcano blew up that he's a real powerful bender. So then it's like, Aunt Wu did predict that I would go with a powerful bender. So anyway, in his quest to find a plant called panda lilies, which are basically lilies but black and white. So basically, we know that there are crossbreeds of animals in this world, like the platypus bear, turtle ducks, the penguin, the other penguins, I think they were. But there's also, looks like there's also plant-based crossbreeds, like panda lilies, etc., etc. I can't think of all of them, but those are the main ones. So anyway, Aang decided to get a pretty flower like that for Katara to impress her. So then both him and Sokka go up to the top of the mountain to find out about getting more to get. And they go in there and they look and they see the lava about to erupt from the volcano. So then they go warn the people down in the place there that say, oh look, the volcano gonna go boom. Even though Aunt Wu predicted that it wouldn't happen, we gotta get you guys to safety. Meanwhile, the guy just with them off at St. Nancy's and all this stuff. So, during the next part of the episode, the three people tried to get Aunt Wu's book for cloud reading, and he tried to get the right cloud formation for predicting a volcanic doom. So it's kind of on the nose because it's kind of a skull. I don't know if there was actually any formation of nature in clouds to be a skull. Maybe a skull crossbones would be more on the head of this, but but they have the Avatar and Katara use water bending and air bending, especially to try to warp the clouds into that formation of the skull. And then when it comes out, it's like, oh my goodness. You know, gotta evacuate all you guys out of here. So then, as they lift the ant move, and then it's okay, then it's acceptable. Then the religious leader or the fortune teller says it's okay, then it's okay for everyone to panic and stuff. So anyway, Team Avatar orders everyone to dig trenches for the avoid pyroclastic flow from hitting the main village into destroying the sign of the village. So they dig a big trench using earthbenders to try to keep Ho out of here. I feel like this has been the perfect time to put on. I hope it's off the work we go. And then they would take out giant boulders and push them aside, to protect the village. And they even had Papa doing it. They even had little Momo putting a little boulder on the side, to prevent the big lava from coming into the area. I like that they had cooperation of everybody involved. Now it won't give permission and stuff. But I want to hold this off for a minute, because when it had a very similar expedition when the Avatar Roku, a firebender by nature, had to try to defend his own village against the destruction of a powerful volcano. It was very similar to what we see here. Maybe not quite as potent as, maybe Roku's explosion was a lot more potent, but the Avatar, when he saw that the flow was going to be overflowing over the bank of the trench that they dug, he ended up doing a massive kind of a twister or something to knock all the lava over the edge and then make it all freeze up. And it was actually pretty nice. It made the river of lava freeze, and it also made cool down, and it also made the trench that much higher, so that any more future flow won't go over it. And then the rest of it went it would directly into the ocean, which was actually a pretty smart idea. So then they said that Mood was predictions were right, that nothing bad would happen to the village, and that everything was okay. It was all predestined. It was more like the help of the Avatar gang, Team Avatar, that they were actually able to defeat nature. To put Sokka to the guy, I hate you for taking away all of our credit and giving to Atmu. Now, I like this episode because it had the floofy comment about Kara. So, I can see why you like her, because she's beautiful, kind, and everything else. But I also like the fact that Sokka saw through all of Atmu's tricks and the politics and stuff, and that Katara annoyed Atmu so much that she wouldn't take her in for more business and be in charge for anything. She was a real fortune teller. she would charge an arm and a leg to be seen for her crackpot advice. But I also like this episode because it shows the folly about relying too much on fortune telling through real life, and also can also extend it to having too much religion to affect your decision making skills. Also, soccer is more like a voice of reason and critical thinking. So you should have an equal balance in my mind. You should have an equal balance. And it turns out that Aunt Ruth prediction about Katara finding the love of life and final battle. Well, actually, it will come true. It might take a couple of episodes, but they do end up catching. They do end up having a big fight. So yeah, it is accurate in predictions for that. And it's all because of something called screenwriting and foreshadowing for that writing. Even though it's kind of in your life, you wouldn't be able to predict the future like that. Because, like I said, whenever somebody reads your fortune or reads the bumps in your skull or something like that, for analogy, it's what's called the crackpot science. You can't predict the future, and wherever they say it's way too vague for anything specific. Like, you will come into a fortune in the future. Okay? But do what? I work on my butt off by buying a lottery ticket. If Aunt Moo was so hell-bent on keeping a good reputation, if anybody else would say, that you're going to come into a fortune, okay, pal, give me the lottery numbers. Give me the accurate lottery numbers. And then said that they can't do it because it's too morally ambiguous to give lottery numbers. I say, you won't give them because you can't do it. It's just like if someone said to me, that I can cure your disability and all that stuff. I can cure any disability. And look, I'm gonna take my followers, put hands on them, and then you can walk and dance like anybody else. Okay, buddy boy. Try it on me. So you do it to a person with a real issue, like me. They can't do it, and then they blame the person and walk. They say, "Oh, this guy doesn't have enough faith in me. This guy doesn't have enough faith in the fortune-telling ability of Aunt Moo. It must be his fault." It's not my fault. You just can't do it. You're a fraud. And Circle was this close to referring to Aunt Moo as a fraud. I guess he didn't want to do that for this episode. But anyway, I like this episode. I like this episode a lot. Because it shows that if the village elder to agree to something, they'll do it. They'll get the force to do it without question. Anyway, I also looked at jokes at Katara and Aang and all that romance stuff between Mang and Aang. I think they would have been a good couple. if guitar was in there, the flute was in there. Anyway, I thank you for watching my Avatar Last Airbender vlog for episode 14 of season 1 of the show, The Fortune Teller. It was actually a really good episode of Fortune Teller because, because of Meg, because of everything that was in this episode. I like the combination of water bending and air bending to make cloud bending. Although, by rights, I would think that Aang could do it by himself. But the fact that he invoked Katara was a nice touch too. I also like the skepticism of Sokka, and that you was more or less like a little bit of a balance between the two. Religion, or in this case, was combined with reason and cunning. Now with the separate interesting joke about that will always be in misery and pain. All because Sokka wrote to the first self. That was real funny. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I recommend it to you guys. And then give this episode happy feast seal of approval. And by the way, you know that it's no longer winter time. I'm still gonna be doing the Avatar vlogs because I want to get it done. Move on to other stuff, but besides that, I like these episodes a lot. And they'll get on the cover that I mentioned. Yeah. If you like what you hear and want to see more of my videos and such, you can always subscribe. You can always like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Or you can call me or text me at remember for future stuff and future opinions about my videos by calling at 631-707-3707. And if you like, you can also follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer at PMelsonPro. My email is at jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. So, as to all you Avatar fans out there, all you animation fans out there, all you movie fans out there, peace out, my brothers and sisters. Sayonara, aloha, and ciao ciao. And by the way, I think that Wu is a wonderful character if you want to look at it from a Chinese perspective, because all the fortune telling stuff that she does mostly originated in China. Way back when, the bone divination, the glow reading, and the palm reading, I think were from Chinese folklore or something like that. I don't know if they still believe in all that, but I'm sure it's more like if you go into like the rural areas, like in western China, maybe Mongolia too. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, all you girls and guys in Interland.